Nintendo Live 2024 in Sydney featured this graphic, The Legend of Zelda Timeline. People were quick to notice something. They'd misspelt Four Swords Adventures. But seriously, people were quick to spot how Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom appear in their own separate area, boxed off from the rest of the timeline. This was shared again and again by increasingly more prominent news sources as the updated Zelda Timeline, official confirmation that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom exist in their own separate continuity and have no connection at all to the rest of the timeline. But is this actually true? No. The Zelda timeline has been shown this way since the release of Breath of the Wild in 2017, with the game, and later Tears of the Kingdom 2, in its own separate place. The placements of these last two games have always been ambiguous, and this is deliberate. In the Breath of the Wild lorebook, Creating a Champion, series producer Eiji Aonuma stated that, "In books like the recently released Legend of Zelda Encyclopedia, we revealed where each Zelda game fell on a timeline and how their stories related, but we didn't do that for Breath of the Wild. There is a reason for that. With this game, we saw just how many players were playing in their own way and had those reactions I just mentioned. We realized that people were enjoying imagining the story that emerged from the fragmental imagery we were providing. If we defined a restricted timeline, then there would be a definitive story, and it would eliminate the room for imagination, which wouldn't be as fun. We want players to be able to continue having fun imagining this world even after they are finished with the game. So this time, we decided that we would avoid making clarifications. I hope that everyone can find their own answer in their own way." This deliberate vagueness is why Breath of the Wild, and by extension Tears of the Kingdom, are set aside from the rest of the Zelda timeline, and have been ever since 2017. This recent timeline isn't anything new, and it definitely doesn't confirm that these games exist outside of Zelda canon. Breath of the Wild's director, Hidemaru Fujibayashi, has confirmed without a shadow of a doubt that the game takes place in the same continuity as the rest. In an interview with Game Rant, he said that it takes place in an age long after any of the titles released to date. It is the most recent age, and because of this, we believe that players will be able to easily immerse themselves in the game. Of course, regardless of the time period, the story does unfold in Hyrule, so for those who've played the other titles in the series, there'll be a lot of recognizable places to enjoy. When the Zelda website was updated to feature Breath of the Wild, in its own separate place, Famitsu interviewed Aonuma and Fujibayashi about the changes. Aonuma responded with, "Well, of course it's at the very end, but I get what you're asking. It's which timeline is it the end of?" And Fujibayashi chimed in with, "That's up to the player's imagination, isn't it?" And when asked in a round of quickfire questions, Eiji Aonuma confirmed that Breath of the Wild takes place after Ocarina of Time.
Does Breath of the Wild take place before or after Ocarina of Time?
後です。
The idea here is to sever Breath of the Wild from the rest of the games by setting it so incomprehensibly far into the future that the games that came before, and whatever timelines they were in, become irrelevant. Everything before Breath of the Wild is lost in a hazy period known as the Era of Myth. When only Breath of the Wild existed, this was very easy to believe. The ruins of Ocarina of Time's castle town are found on the Great Plateau, along with Lon Lon Ranch near Hyrule Castle. The Forgotten Temple and ancient columns are ruins bearing the designs of Skyward Sword's architecture, and Princess Zelda mentions the accomplishments of previous incarnations of Link while she appoints this Link as her chosen knight. Tears of the Kingdom does, admittedly, make this more convoluted, by introducing time travel and sending Zelda back to the founding of the Kingdom of Hyrule. In much the same way as the games themselves, the era of the Zonai and of Raru's Kingdom of Hyrule is left deliberately ambiguous. How this fits into the Zelda timeline is left up to the player to decide. And we actually have gotten an updated timeline with regards to Tears of the Kingdom, the Secret Stones and the Zonai, published in the recently released Masterworks book. This actually is new information, and I'll absolutely be covering this stuff on the channel soon. But the Nintendo Live timeline is not new. It doesn't confirm that these games exist in a separate canon, and this is how the Zelda timeline has been displayed for years. There's a lot of room for theories, but according to the developers themselves, these games take place far, far in the future of the main Zelda timeline.